Welcome to episode 23. I'm going to provide you some tips on how to begin now to deal with the chronic pain in your life. In episode 20, I talked about pain and the brain and how a pain response is created to let you know that an area of your body has been damaged. Pain signals continue in order to remind you the area is damaged and to influence you to take care in that area in order to allow the damaged area to heal. Over time, the brain learns that movement in certain areas requires a pain response, and this pain response becomes second nature, resulting in the pain sending pain signals even beyond the point of when the area has completely healed. This results in an invalid pain response. For example, bulge discs are a part of many people's lives. Many people are going to get them, and you can continue to function in a normal life once you train your brain to stop activating the pain receptors. You conduct movements the brain perceives as requiring a pain response. In episode 17, I talked about the sympathetic nervous system. Pain is more active when the sympathetic nervous system is active. Its goal in reducing your pain is to decrease an overactive sympathetic nervous system. Constant worrying about being able to do things because you're catastrophizing about your pain, allowing your pain to define your life and define who you are, will all activate the sympathetic nervous system, increasing your level of pain. Through small baby steps, you can eventually retrain the brain not to activate the pain receptors when you conduct certain movements that you typically would cause you pain in your life. In episode 20, I talked about the noticeable difference in pain levels when I would jump from a plane during a military training event. My mind was focused and worried about all the variety of tasks I had to accomplish versus a fun jump when I had nothing to worry about but hanging out with the family after the jump. When one's mind is not focusing on the negative and not focusing on your injury, and you're being at peace in your mind, this turns off the sympathetic nervous system and decreases your level of stress. Here are a few tips you can incorporate now. First, you need to practice eliminating the worry of your pain from your mind. Focus on the future. Focus on what you want to accomplish in the future and tell yourself that the pain is not going to define who you can become. Second, prepare your mind for those events where you typically would have pain. So for example, if you know you're going to do some automotive repair and typically you have back pain with conducting some of that work, prior to doing it, conduct some mindfulness. You can look back on my other episodes on how I have examples of mindfulness to turn down the sympathetic nervous system and activate the release of dopamine and serotonin to make you feel good. Think of some joyful music. What is some music that makes you feel at peace, that makes you feel calm, that reminds you of childhood events that you enjoy? Listen to that prior to doing the automotive repair. And as you begin to do the work, focus in your mind and tell your mind not to think about the pain, not to worry about the pain. Think of the task at hand and focus completely on positive thoughts. Third, you need to identify triggers that may be causing the pain. Remember in episode 20, I talked about the psychosocial approach to addressing pain. Whenever you had your injury or whatever triggers the pain in the past has now been recorded in your mind through receptors of your five senses. So you need to begin to journal so you can identify what these triggers are that may be causing the sympathetic nervous system to activate and induce the pain. Once you identify these triggers one by one, you're going to break them apart using cognitive behavioral therapy to counter the initial thoughts, break apart the thoughts you have, and look at alternate thoughts. And through mindfulness, focus and change your perception to influence the brain to no longer activate the pain receptors when these stimuli are triggered. These techniques will work. They have solved chronic pain for many who have been suffering this pain throughout their entire body for many years. But it doesn't happen overnight. For some, it's taking up to 4 years for this to finally work. Key is to not catastrophize, to be hopeful, and tell your mind that you're going to take control and eliminate this pain from your life because the injury is over and your mind thinks the injury is still there. Thanks for joining this episode. We'll see you on the next episode.